talk about coronavirus. I think WHO has been sending conflicting messages. On one hand, today they said global risk is very high, but 2 days ago they had a conference, they had a press briefing by the expert coming back from China, and he basically showed a graphic. It's a opposite V-shaped graphic, and he said the epidemic is definitely on the downhill, and he had 100% positive comments about the Chinese government's handling of the epidemic. So, what's going on?
It looks like China has bought the WHO because WHO officials say anything China wants them to say. So China's been issuing statistics showing that new infections are on the downslope. And that it corresponds with what Xi Jinping wants to do, which is to get Chinese workers back to their job sites. Whenever you have statistics support a leader's policies, you've got to be very concerned. We really don't know what's going on inside of China, and I don't even think the WHO knows either. So this is a situation where China has now exercised extreme measures to control the narrative, to control information. So I think the best thing we can say is that we know the virus is continuing. We know that China is trying to prevent foreign investigation of the origin of the virus, and the Chinese government is doing things which are inconsistent with this narrative that the virus is going away.
I am Rob from iTech Pickers. This is time for our coronavirus update. Today it's Friday. This Friday, March 6th, 2020, and since I'm reporting from South Korea right now, from Seoul, so the time is different there than it is in North America. It's the morning here. Yeah, a lot of things have changed since our last update. Now Italy has 148 deaths and almost 4,000 cases. Iran, 108 deaths, 300, 500 cases, and we know that Iran is not reporting the real numbers, so it's much higher than that. As far as China is concerned, they still hold on to the same bullshit narrative, so there's not much to learn from them. But we know from videos on the ground there in Wuhan and in other Chinese cities, there is still a big outbreak there. There is no, they are not in control of this, and so the real numbers very likely in the millions, and over 50,000 people dead in China. There's starting to be a lot of cases in Germany, 545 cases. France, pretty much every other European countries now they have cases. Spain, France has got 7 deaths. Spain 3 deaths. The USA now has more than 200 cases, 12 deaths. Switzerland over like almost 120 cases. The UK has got more than 115 cases now. Of course, most of the spreading that has been done in Europe actually comes from Italy, because there are no borders anymore in Europe, so that's why it was easy to spread. So there's this talk about the mortality rate, because I don't know how to call them, the clowns, the buffoons from the World Health Organization, they actually revised the mortality rate for the virus. They used to claim it was 2%. Now they're saying it's 3.4%. But even though they revised it, they're still lying. The mortality rate, as I've been telling you in almost every other video so far, is actually 10% and more than 10%. It's the same mortality rate as the SARS of 2003, and you will see this as the numbers, as more numbers come out, but what we are seeing from the numbers that we have right now, it's way over 3.4%. So I was telling you they were lying. They actually revised their number, but they're still giving you another bullshit number. And the reason why, so many people came up with these stupid calculations is because they believe that the things that China said, which are false. But if you look at the cases, like look at Italy, they've got 148 deaths, and they've got 414 people that have recovered. To me, that's not a 2%. That's not 3.4%. If you just take those numbers now, this is actually like 30%, at least 30 or 35% mortality rate, at least. Of course, this is going to change with time. But if you look at Iran, 739 cases recovered and 108 cases of people who have died. That's not a 3.4% mortality rate. That's like it's like a 15% mortality rate, and we see the same pattern. Look in South Korea. 40 deaths and 135 people who have recovered. To me, that's like this looks like a 18-19% mortality rate. So it's clearly not a 3.4%. Of course, these buffoons will come back and revise their numbers and revise their numbers and revise their numbers because they want to hang on to their big fat budgets that the hundreds of millions of dollars that are being given to them by the UN. But look, these people are criminals. They have lied to you from the very beginning. They were aware of this since December 31st. They did nothing. They just sat on their big fat asses. They didn't, and they're still doing nothing. And they're praising China. They're working for China like little dogs that they are. And they are a disgrace to the planet. And I have no idea why Donald Trump is not calling them for what they are. I have no idea why the UN does not fire and put these people under investigation by the FBI, because they have been criminally responsible for this outbreak that is spreading to the rest of the world. They have suppressed information. They have lied. They still hold press conferences every day, just lying in people's faces, And I've been telling you that from the very beginning of my videos. And it just seems like no one's listening to me, or there it is. That's the plain truth, And I know that YouTube is pretty much censoring my videos and not making them appear in the search results. So this is why I have so little views and so little subscribers. But I'm telling you the truth. Every time I'm making one of these videos, it is to tell the truth. I am not monetized, and I am not gaining from any of this. But I'm very sincere in what I'm saying. If you look in the United States, for example, you got 12 deaths, and you got 9 people who have recovered. Does that look like a 3.4% mortality rate to you? That's like a 60% mortality rate. It's 55-60%. If you just look at the facts, if you disregard all of the bullshit that has been created by China to protect themselves and protect their communist thug party, and it's been and the bullshit that has been given to you by the World Health Organization. So I'm telling you again, don't believe one word from the World Health Organization. Don't believe one word from China. Just look at the facts. Look at the numbers out of China. Look at what's happening in the United States. Look at what's happening in the UK, in France, in Germany, in Japan, in South Korea, in Switzerland. But don't listen to these morons, these con men from the World Health Organization and the Communist Party of China. Okay, so yeah, and now there's a spread pretty much in Europe. There's already a pretty good spread, and you've got you've got cases everywhere now. So that's the update for now, for today. I will keep you updated. Now here in Seoul in South Korea, it's actually, life goes on here. Most people wear a mask, although you've got, you've got the occasional person who doesn't have one and, doesn't really care about wearing one, and that's okay. It's actually a very nice city, and I know that it looks really bad when you look at the numbers and you see like 6,000 cases in South Korea, but I can tell you for a fact that pretty much almost all of these cases are in Daegu, which is it's a city 300 kilometers from Seoul, and in Daegu and Cheonggo, and they have quarantined that part of the country. And people respect the quarantine because the South Koreans, they're very honest people. This is not China, and and the reason why they've got all these cases is because they're being honest about them. Every day they give a press conference and they tell the rest of the world exactly what's happening, and they do have control over this. And in Seoul here, it's a city of 10 million people, and there's about 100 cases, and they're all quarantined. They're being taken care of in hospitals. So there is no outbreak in Seoul, and and if you look at the numbers everywhere, there's probably more cases in Tokyo right now than there are in Seoul. Again, Seoul is a city of 10 million, so it's a very safe place. It's actually just as safe as any other big city in the world. And I'm pretty sure that in France there are more cases in Paris than there are here in Seoul. So I know that a lot of people are not gonna believe me, but I'm here right now, and I'm gonna go through my day like everybody else here. I'm just gonna visit a few places. So that's what it is. Okay, everybody does wear a mask, and everybody's prepared. Is taking good measures to wash their hands, and there's sanitizer available everywhere. So it looks very safe and sound here in Seoul. And those cities where the outbreak is, where the 6,000 people are, they are quarantined. You cannot enter these cities, and the people from these areas cannot come out. So it's being well taken care of. And there's also there's this. People are talking about this on the internet. They're talking about two strains of the virus, whereas the one in Italy, it's a more aggressive strain of the coronavirus. Right now, I think I'm open to everything, but to any opinion. But right now, I don't believe there are two strains of the virus. I think this is the same virus, but it's simply that people have been lied to about how aggressive it was at the beginning. So they were told it was something almost like the flu, that it was mild and with the 2% mortality rate, and that was being told by them, by the bullshitters from the World Health Organization and China. That's why they believed that it was not aggressive, and now the virus that's in Italy and Iran and everywhere else outside of China, they're seeing these big numbers, and they believe that the virus has mutated and it's become more aggressive. And no, it was aggressive like that in China. It's just that they lied about it. So, guys, the coronavirus has, at least a 10% mortality rate, and don't let people tell you that it's not that way, because the numbers outside of China are proving it. It's pretty much the same as the SARS of 2003. It may not be like the exact virus, but it's the mortality rate seems to be quite the same. So look, I'm gonna keep you updated on this. In the meanwhile, I suggest that you subscribe to my channel if you want to keep being updated with my videos. And be safe. Have a plan, and I will see you soon.